In times of hardship, people turn to the church for help. But what happens when the same person who is your pastor in church is part of the government causing the hardship? This is a documentary of Senator Oluremi Tinubu, First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and a pastor in Redeemed Christian Church of Nigeria. In a nation where faith and politics deeply intertwine, moment arises that forces people to ask difficult questions.
I know this is the fasting time.
Questions that are not about leadership, but about responsibility, accountability, and the true meaning of spiritual authority. Recently, a statement attributed to Enoch Adeboye has stirred conversations across Nigeria, suggesting that the church would not remove Oluremi Tinubu from her position as the ordained minister. For many, this is not just a church decision. It is a reflection of a much larger tension between faith and governance, between spiritual identity and political reality. At the center of this conversation is a deeper concern that goes beyond personality. It is about the expectation placed on leaders who occupy religious and public space.
You are a terrible president. Like, what are you doing to help us? What are you doing to help the economy? You are so terrible. I'm just really tired, and I just want our money to count for something. And when is the government going to actually start working?
Nigeria failed my father. I became fatherless because of Nigeria. My mother became husbandless because of Nigeria. Health system, job market, terrible economy, inflation, bad roads, insecurity. All these problems happening in one country.
When someone is seen as a representative of faith, people naturally expect that actions and even the environment around them to reflect compassion, justice, fairness, and responsibility. But what happens when the reality on ground tells a different story? When citizens are struggling with economic hardship and poverty, rising cost of living, and uncertainty about their future, while those connected to power remain in position of influence both politically and spiritually, such as Pastor Oluremi Tinubu of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. The administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu has forced criticism from many Nigerians who feel the weight of economic reforms, inflation, and difficult living conditions. These are not abstract concerns. They are real experiences affecting families, workers, and everyday citizens trying to survive. In such a climate, emotions run high and people begin to look forward to institutions they trust, including the church, for answers, for support, for emotional strength, and for a sense of leadership to speak to power, and sometimes for accountability. This is where the role of the church becomes especially significant. Institutions like the Redeemed Christian Church of God are not just places of worship. They are powerful social structures that influences millions of poor, rich, and average Nigerians. Their leaders are not only spiritual guides, but also moral voices in society. So when a decision is made to retain someone in a spiritual position despite public controversy, it is inevitably false questions, not necessarily about legality or doctrine, but about moral standing, about accountability, about perception, about symbolism, and about the message it sends to those who are watching closely. Some will argue that the church operates on spiritual principles that are separate from political considerations. Some would say that ordination is based on calling and service, not on the doctrines of government or the policies of a spouse. From this perspective, removing someone from ministry because of political association will set a precedent that mixes two different domains, two different entities, two different worlds in ways that may not be appropriate. Others, however, see it differently. The belief that leadership, whether spiritual or political, cannot exist in isolation from the realities of the people, from the sufferings of the people, from the poverty of the people, the average people, as the church is made up of 80% the average Nigerians. And that the silence or inaction in the face of widespread hardship can be interpreted as indifference, as insensitive. For many Nigerians, the issue is not simply about individual or one statement. It is about a broader pattern where lines between faith and power appeared blurred, where institutions that are expected to speak truth to power sometimes appear aligned with it. This perception can create a sense of disconnect, especially among those who feel unheard, unseen, or unsupported during difficult times. At this time where the nation is in national crisis of economic hardship, looming inflation, tough policies, and restructuring, it is important to recognize that these situations are rarely as simple as they appear on the surface. Leadership decisions can involve complexities that are not immediately visible to the public. There may be internal considerations, doctrine, reasons, or long-standing principles guiding such choices. However, in an age where information spreads rapidly and public sentiment shifts quickly, perception becomes reality. And that perception can shape trust in powerful ways. This is why conversation like this matters. This is why documentaries like this exposes the hidden parts of the conversations Nigerians are having in their penury, in their difficult times, in their hardship. Not because they aim to attack individuals, but because they affect their lives, but because this reflects the concerns of a population trying to reconcile faith with life experiences. People are seeking and are asking whether the institutions they rely on for spiritual guidance and also for protection are willing to engage with the realities of their everyday struggle as a Nigerian. Some members have complained that they do not even can afford clothes or transports to church to worship. Some cannot afford 3 square meals. They are questioning whether moral authority should come with a responsibility to address not just spiritual needs, but also social and ethical concerns. as the debate continues, one thing remains clear. The intersection of faith and politics will always be a sensitive and complex space. It requires wisdom, balance, and a deep understanding of both spiritual principles and human realities. Today, many members of the Redeemed Christian Church of God are calling for the removal of Pastor Oluremi Tinubu from the church ministry as an ordained minister because of the hardship they seemingly face in the economy of the country, led by her husband, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What do you think will happen in the coming days? For believers, some believe that people in spiritual authority should have influences to call people in political position and public offices to order. They should have influence to call them to the realities of economic, to call them to the hardship of the average people, especially the church members who are directly involved with some of the people in power. For believers, it is a reminder to seek truth, to think critically, and to hold on to faith even in moments of uncertainty. For leaders, it is a call to reflect on the impact of their decisions, not just within their institution, but in the lives of the people they influence, politically or religious-wise. And for the nation as a whole, it is an opportunity to have honest conversation about what leadership truly means in a time of challenge. Because at the end of the day, beyond titles, beyond position, what people are really searching for is hope, is survival, integrity, and a sense that those in power, politically or spiritually, understand the weight of the moment and are willing to respond to both wisdom and compassion, and are willing to stand up, to provide, to speak to power, to make policies to better their lives. Because what is religion without food? What is religion without security? What is religion without basic amenities? What is religion without survival?